In a world saturated with noise, where words often lose their meaning, the true measure of a person seems harder to grasp. We're surrounded by superficiality, endless chatter, social media posts, and hollow promises. In such a landscape, we must ask ourselves, is it truly possible to convey our worth without speaking? Can we discern the intentions and value of others without relying on their words? According to the wisdom of ancient Stoicism, the answer is a resounding yes. The Stoics taught that true courage and strength of character aren't proclaimed aloud, but are revealed through our actions. It's not about what we say, it's about what we do. Today, I invite you to embark on a transformative journey, one that will guide you in recognizing your inherent worth and becoming a beacon of authenticity, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. Throughout this video, you'll discover time-tested principles that go beyond the surface, helping you to establish a foundation of self-respect and dignity. Does it require words? These are lessons designed to fortify your resolve, to help you face challenges with unshakable confidence. If this is your first visit to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe and like the video so that we can continue exploring these timeless teachings together. Your support enables me to create more content that delves into the essence of Stoic philosophy and how it can be applied in today's world. What we're diving into isn't just theory, it's a roadmap to living a life of substance and integrity. Stoicism, as we will explore, isn't about stoically enduring hardship for its own sake. Rather, it's about uncovering what truly matters in our lives and our relationships, what defines us when all the noise fades away. So, stay with me until the end. Each principle we discuss will bring you closer to living a life where your value is undeniable, where your actions speak volumes, and where others are naturally drawn to the strength you project. After watching, I invite you to reflect and share in the comments how one of these principles has resonated with you in your own life. Together, let's embark on this journey toward becoming individuals who are not only respected, but truly valued, all without uttering a single word. Number 1. Present yourself with dignity. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? This reflection from Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our reactions, not just our words, define who we are. Presenting yourself with dignity is less about how you speak and more about how you carry yourself in every aspect of life. It's not a facade or a performance. It's an embodiment of your true character, a quiet confidence that commands respect without demanding it. In today's world, we often find ourselves caught up in the need to impress, whether in relationships, at work, or even in social settings. There's a constant pressure to conform, to dress a certain way, to speak a certain way, all in the hopes of gaining approval from others. But the Stoic way teaches us that dignity isn't about external appearances or the validation of others. It's about the choices you make and the actions you take when no one else is watching. Imagine this. You're at a gathering, and there's someone who blends into the background, observing quietly, while another person is loudly seeking attention, trying to prove their worth. Who do you think truly holds the room? The one who doesn't feel the need to constantly prove themselves, who is comfortable in their own skin, who listens more than they speak. This is the power of dignity. It speaks volumes, even in silence. To live with dignity is to embrace who you are, flaws and all, and to present that self to the world without apology. It's about knowing your worth and not allowing external circumstances to dictate your self-esteem. This doesn't mean being rigid or unyielding. It means being so grounded in your values that you are not easily swayed by the whims and opinions of others. As the Stoics would say, it's about putting your energy where it truly matters, into actions that reflect your integrity and self-respect. One practical way to present yourself with dignity is to remain calm under pressure. Think of the person who, in a heated argument, doesn't lose their temper but instead listens, processes, and responds thoughtfully. This is the kind of demeanor that earns respect, the kind that shows you are in control of yourself and your emotions. Another key to dignity is setting and maintaining boundaries. When you respect your own time, your own needs, and your own values, you teach others to do the same. It's not about saying no to everything, but about saying yes to the right things. those that align with your principles and your sense of self-worth. By doing this, you create a space where your dignity is upheld, not just by you, but by those around you. Additionally, dignity comes from treating others with the respect and kindness that you wish to receive. This isn't about being passive or submissive. It's about recognizing the humanity in everyone, understanding that each person you encounter has their own struggles and stories. When you engage with others from a place of empathy and understanding, you build connections that are authentic and lasting. Finally, remember that dignity is a quiet strength. It doesn't need to be flaunted or announced. It's felt in the way you carry yourself, in the choices you make, and in the respect you both give and command. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your dignity lies not in what the world throws at you, but in how you choose to stand tall in response. When you begin to truly embody this concept of dignity, you project a sense of confidence and self-assurance that others can't help but notice. This inner strength creates a positive ripple effect, influencing how others see and treat you. It's a powerful reminder that true respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn through consistent, dignified action. Number 2, know your worth. What man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for some goal worthy of him, wrote Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. This sentiment echoes the core of Stoic philosophy, reminding us that our worth is not something granted by others or the world around us. It's something we cultivate within ourselves. Knowing your worth isn't about ego or arrogance. It's about a deep, unwavering understanding of your intrinsic value, a value that remains steadfast regardless of external circumstances or judgments. Let's get one thing straight. Your worth isn't determined by how many followers you have on social media or the praise you receive from others. In fact, the Stoics would argue that these external validations are fleeting and unreliable. Your worth is rooted in your character, in the virtues you cultivate and the actions you take. It's like a diamond buried in the earth. Even when unseen, it remains a diamond, its value intact, regardless of whether anyone notices it. Truly know your worth? Start by focusing on what you can control. Actions, your mindset, your response to life's challenges. The Stoics believe that our self-esteem is entirely within our control because it stems from how we choose to live our lives. Are you living with integrity? Are you treating others with kindness and respect? Are you acting in accordance with your deepest values? This is where your true worth lies, not in the opinions of others, but in the person you decide to be every single day. Here's a practical exercise for you. Next time you face criticism or rejection, pause for a moment. Instead of letting those external judgments dictate your sense of self, reflect inward. Ask yourself, what virtues do I hold dear? Am I acting in alignment with them? This exercise isn't about denying the hurt or frustration that comes with rejection. It's about reminding yourself that your value isn't tied to external validation. It's about building a foundation so solid that it doesn't shake, even when the world around you trembles. Consider this. In a crowded room, there are those who stand firm in their self-worth, and those who are constantly seeking validation from others. The ones who are truly content are those who have taken the time to understand their own value. They don't need to shout about it or seek approval. They are like a lighthouse on a foggy night, standing strong, guiding others, but never seeking anything in return. They know their purpose, their value, and they fulfill it with quiet strength. Knowing your worth also means recognizing when to walk away from situations that don't respect your value. It's about having the courage to say no to what doesn't serve you, what doesn't align with your principle. It might be a toxic relationship, a draining job, or even a friendship that feels one-sided. The act of walking away isn't about giving up. It's about affirming your value and choosing to invest your energy where it truly matters. When you do this, you're not just protecting your self-esteem, you're reinforcing it, showing yourself and the world that you believe in your worth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you allow your thoughts to dwell on external approval, your sense of worth will always be at the mercy of others. But if you anchor your worth in your own actions and principles, you cultivate a sense of self that is unshakable and enduring. So, every morning when you wake up, remind yourself of your intrinsic value. Reflect on your virtues and ask yourself how you can live in alignment with them today. This practice isn't just a mental exercise. It's a commitment to living a life that is true to who you are, a life that doesn't need external validation to feel complete. It's about finding strength in your own sense of worth, regardless of the noise around you, and remembering that you are valuable simply for being who you are in all your authenticity and integrity. Number 3, acting with boundaries. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? This reflection from Marcus Aurelius challenges us to consider the weight of our actions, especially when it comes to setting and maintaining boundaries. Acting with boundaries isn't about rigidly declaring what you will or won't accept. It's about embodying those limits through your behavior, showing the world without uttering a word what you stand for and what you won't tolerate. It's easy to talk about boundaries, to declare that we won't let ourselves be mistreated or taken for granted. But the real test comes when we are faced with those very situations. Will you hold the line, or will you let it blur because it feels uncomfortable to enforce? This is where your true strength lies, not in what you say, but in what you do. The Stoics remind us that our actions are the most powerful indicators of our beliefs. As Seneca once said, it's not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It's because we do not dare that they are difficult. When you face a moment that tests your boundaries, like a friend who continually cancels plans or a colleague who takes credit for your work, what do? The Stoic approach is clear. Respond with calm assertiveness. Instead of reacting with anger or retreating into silence, address the issue directly, but without hostility. For example, if a friend repeatedly cancels on you, you might calmly state, "I value our time together, but it feels disheartening when plans fall through often. Let's make sure our next meetup is something we're both committed to." This approach is about standing firm while still engaging with empathy. It's not about creating drama or tension, but about respecting yourself enough to communicate your needs clearly. By doing so, you not only uphold your boundaries, but also demonstrate to others the importance of respect and consideration. Your actions, more than your words, convey the seriousness with which you hold your values. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role here. Being mindful means being acutely aware of the moment, recognizing when your boundaries are being tested, and choosing how to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. In practicing mindfulness, you're able to assess each situation as it unfolds and decide whether it aligns with your core values or if it requires a firm yet gentle assertion of your boundaries. It's like being the captain of a ship, steering through the waters, making calculated decisions about which course to take while maintaining your destination in mind. Think about the small, everyday interactions. These are the moments where boundaries are truly tested. It's how you react when someone makes an offhand remark, doesn't sit well with you, or when a loved one asks for a favor that stretches you too thin. These small moments define the strength of your character and your commitment to living by your principles. Every time you enforce your boundaries, even in the smallest of ways, you reinforce your self-respect and signal to others that you take your values seriously. Here's a practical exercise. Next time you're faced with a situation that challenges your boundaries, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would a person who respects themselves do in this moment? This simple pause gives you the space to choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting out of fear or habit. Remember, acting with boundaries is not about isolation or shutting others out. It's about creating a safe space where your integrity is honored and your true self is respected. It's like building a garden with a fence, not to keep people away, to protect what's precious inside. When you live in accordance with your boundaries, you're not only preserving your own dignity, but also encouraging others to engage with you on a level of mutual respect and understanding. As you navigate your relationships and daily interactions, let this internal compass guide you. The world may often be chaotic and unpredictable, but your commitment to your values and your boundaries can be your anchor. In doing so, you become a beacon of integrity, attracting those who appreciate and respect the same principles. Number 4. Limiting access. Guard your time fiercely, as it is the one thing that cannot be replaced. This principle, echoed throughout the wisdom of the Stoics, teaches us the importance of being discerning about where we invest our energy. In a society obsessed with instant gratification and constant connectivity, the idea of limiting access might seem outdated, perhaps even harsh. But it's not about creating distance for the sake of mystery. It's about understanding and honoring your own value. The Stoics remind us of the art of self-discipline and purposeful living. It's not about building walls, but about understanding what is truly valuable: your time, your peace, presence, and ensuring these are not wasted on things or people that don't contribute to your growth or well-being. Just as Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Limiting access is about being intentional with your presence and your energy. Consider your relationships, whether they are romantic, familial, or professional. There is often an urge to share everything at once, to be constantly available, always be the first to respond. But think about it. When you give everything away without consideration, you diminish your own worth. Like a novel with no plot twists, where is the intrigue, the anticipation, the depth? True connection, the kind that endures, isn't built on endless availability, but on moments of genuine presence. To limit access in a meaningful way, start by reassessing how you present yourself to the world. This isn't about superficial appearances, but about conveying a message of self-respect. Dress not to impress, but to express who you are with modesty and intention. It's a subtle statement that says, I know my worth and I do not need to overstate it. By being deliberate in how you reveal yourself, both physically and emotionally, you create a sense of depth that invites curiosity and respect. Another practical approach is to be selective with your time. In a world where we are conditioned to believe that more is always better, more social media followers, more social engagements, more multitasking, the Stoic lesson of quality over quantity stands firm. If you are with someone, be fully engaged. But when you are alone, embrace that solitude as a time to reflect and grow. Don't feel compelled to fill every moment with action or interaction. Instead, allow space for contemplation and self-care. Emotional self-control is also key to limiting access. This does not mean shutting off your feelings or becoming detached. Instead, it's about not letting every external event dictate your emotional state. By maintaining this inner calm, you're not withholding your emotions, but rather choosing when and with whom to share them. This controlled approach ensures that your emotional energy is given where it is most valued and reciprocated. Imagine yourself as a rare and precious stone, not hidden away in darkness, but displayed carefully, in the right setting, under the right light. Not everyone needs to have access to you, and not every moment requires you to shine at full brightness. By limiting access, you preserve your value, not out of vanity, but out of a deep understanding of self-respect and purpose. It's also important to remember that limiting access isn't about manipulating others or creating an illusion. It's about making conscious decisions to protect your emotional and mental well-being. It's a declaration that you are not available to just anyone at any time, any reason. By doing so, you communicate to others, and more importantly to yourself, that your time and presence are precious commodities. By practicing this deliberate restraint, you set a standard for how others should treat you. You make it clear that you're not willing to compromise your integrity or exhaust your energy for things that don't align with your core values. This isn't about being unreachable. It's about being discerning, ensuring that when you do engage, it's with authenticity and purpose. In essence, limiting access is about understanding that your value does not come from how much you do for others or how often you are available, from who you are and the standards you set for yourself. It's about living with intention, just as the Stoics did, and choosing to invest your time and energy in ways that are meaningful and enriching, both for yourself and for those around you. By doing so, you send a powerful message. I am worthy of respect, and I am not afraid to demand it, by living authentically and deliberately. Number 5, prepare to walk away. Remember that you have within you, right now, everything you need to deal with whatever the world can throw at you, said Marcus Aurelius. This wisdom speaks directly to the concept of preparing to walk away, a principle deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics teach us that the true strength lies in recognizing what we can control and what we cannot. Walking away is not about giving up or retreating. It's about knowing your worth and making the conscious choice to remove yourself from situations that no longer serve you or align with your values. We've all found ourselves in moments where the fear of the unknown, fear of being alone, or the hope that things might improve keeps us stuck in situations that compromise our integrity. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or a commitment that drains rather than nourishes us, the Stoics remind us that our power lies in our response. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In the same way, it is not the person who chooses to walk away that is lost, but the one who clings to what diminishes them. To prepare to walk away, first cultivate self-awareness. Begin by identifying what is truly important to you, your non-negotiables, your core values. When you are clear about these, it becomes easier to see when a situation is no longer compatible with your principles. It's not about reacting hastily at the first sign of discomfort, but about understanding when a pattern of behavior or circumstance consistently undermines your self-worth and well-being. Second, practice detachment in a way that is compassionate rather than cold. Detachment in Stoicism is about realizing that your value and happiness are not tethered to external situations. It's about maintaining a healthy distance emotionally, allowing you to make decisions from a place of clarity and strength, not from fear or desperation. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or emotionally numb, but rather fostering a mindset where you prioritize your own well-being over the need for external validation. Think of this process like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike is deliberate, removing only what is unnecessary to reveal the statue within. In life, each time you walk away from something that no longer serves you, you are chiseling away at what does not belong in your story. You are refining the person you are becoming, stripping away the inessential to reveal the strength and beauty that lies within. When faced with the decision to stay or leave, pause and ask yourself, is this contributing to my growth, my peace, my purpose? The answer is no. Give yourself the permission to walk away without guilt. Recognize that walking away is not an act of failure or surrender. It's an act of courage and self-respect. It's affirming that you value your emotional and mental health above the fear of uncertainty. To walk away effectively, you must also practice resilience. The decision to leave behind what is comfortable but unfulfilling can be intimidating. It often requires facing the discomfort of the unknown, but this is where true growth happens. As Epictetus advised, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Instead of viewing the act of walking away as a loss, see it as a step towards something more aligned with your values and aspirations. Additionally, foster a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Understand that leaving behind something that no longer fits your life opens up space for new opportunities and experiences that are better suited to who you are becoming. Trust that by closing one door, you are not sealing yourself off from possibility, rather making room for something more fitting to enter. Lastly, remember that preparing to walk away is a continual practice, not a one-time decision. It requires regular self-reflection and a commitment to living authentically. The strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you is not about being indifferent. It's about deeply understanding and valuing yourself. It's about sending a clear message to yourself and the world that you are worthy of environments, relationships, and experiences that honor true self. Walking away, then, is not about isolating yourself or building walls. It's about setting a foundation of respect and dignity that others must meet to be a part of your journey. It's about knowing that you have the strength to stand alone if necessary, and that your value is not contingent upon others' recognition, but on your steadfast commitment to your own principle. In this way, you create a life that reflects who you truly are, a life of integrity and purpose. Number 6, the power of saying no. What you allow is what will continue, goes an old saying that perfectly captures the essence of boundaries. In Stoicism, the emphasis on personal integrity and steadfastness is paramount. This is where the power of saying no comes into play. A tool not of rejection, but of affirmation. A way to stand firm in who you are and what you value. In every relationship, every interaction, and every decision, the ability to say no is one of the most profound expressions of self-respect and self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us that every choice reflects who we are at our core. The power of saying no is about having the courage to protect that core from compromise. Imagine you're in a situation where someone you care about asks you to do something that doesn't sit well with you. Maybe it's a favor that feels overwhelming, or perhaps it's a request that goes against your principles. The easy path is to acquiesce, to avoid conflict, to keep the peace. But the Stoics remind us that peace without integrity is no peace at all. Saying no in these moments is a practice of virtue. It's a declaration that you know your worth and will not allow it to be diminished. The difficulty, of course, lies in the fear of loss. Fear that saying no might push someone away, might close a door, might change the dynamic. And yet, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This principle guides us to understand that saying no is not just about external relationships, but also about the relationship we have with ourselves. It is a practice of honesty and self-care, a way to ensure that our actions align with our innermost values. Consider this. By saying no when something does not align with your principles, you're setting a precedent. You're showing others that you value yourself enough not to bend to every whim or desire. It's about being clear that your time, your energy, and your emotions are not endlessly available for others to use as they see fit. This is not about being unyielding or difficult. It's about creating a space where your true self can thrive, and where those around you learn to respect that space. Practically speaking, how do you exercise this power of no? Start by getting clear on your values and what you stand for. Write them down, reflect on them, and use them as a compass in your daily life. When faced with a request or a decision, ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? Does this align with my values? If the answer is no, practice saying it firmly and kindly. For example, if a friend asks you to do something that feels like a burden, you might say, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I need to focus on my priorities right now. Saying no can also mean refusing to indulge in habits or behaviors that don't serve your higher self. It might mean saying no to staying up late when you know your body needs rest, saying no to gossip because it doesn't align with your commitment to positivity and growth. Each no is a building block in the foundation of a life lived with purpose and integrity. Think of your boundaries like the walls of a fortress. They are not there to imprison you, but to protect the treasures within. By setting clear boundaries, you ensure that only those who respect and value you are granted entry into your inner world. This is the power of saying no. It is the guardian of your peace, the defender of your integrity. Remember, saying no doesn't have to come from a place of fear or defensiveness. It can come from a place of love for yourself and love for the life you want to create. By saying no to what doesn't serve you, you make room for what does. You create a life that is intentional, focused, and true to who you are. Moreover, each time you exercise this power, you communicate a profound truth to those around you, that you are a person who knows their worth and is not afraid to protect. It shows that you are someone who values authenticity and depth over superficial harmony. And in doing so, you invite others to do the same, to be honest about their needs, to express their true selves, and to engage with you from a place of mutual respect and understanding. So the next time you face a situation that challenges your boundaries, remember that saying no is not a rejection, but an affirmation. It is an act of self-affirmation, a declaration of your worth, and a commitment to living a life that is true to you. By embracing the power of saying no, you don't just protect yourself, you elevate your relationships, encouraging a standard of respect and authenticity that benefits everyone involved. Number 7, healthy skepticism. Doubt is the beginning, not the end, of wisdom. This thought from Aristotle perfectly captures the essence of healthy skepticism, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. In a world where appearances can be deceiving, and words are often used more to persuade than to convey truth, Stoicism teaches us to see things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. This principle is especially crucial in love and relationships, where emotions can cloud judgment and make us see what we want to see rather than what is. The Stoics remind us that skepticism is not about distrust or negativity. It's about discernment. It's about looking beyond the surface and questioning the assumptions that often go unnoticed. When someone tells us what we want to hear, it's easy to get caught up in the moment, to ignore those subtle signs something might not be quite right. But a Stoic approach encourages us to pause and reflect. Ask ourselves whether we are being led by wishful thinking or grounded in reality. Imagine meeting someone new and being swept off your feet by their charm and flattery. Everything feels perfect, and you're tempted to dive in headfirst. But the Stoic within you whispers, "Hold on, let's see if their actions match their words over time." This isn't about being cynical or distrustful. It's about giving yourself the space to observe and understand before making any commitment. It's a gentle reminder not to get lost in the romance of words, but to anchor yourself in the reality of deed. This form of skepticism is a tool for clarity, not a weapon for defense. It's about being mindful, listening carefully to what others say, and watching just as carefully what they do. It's about giving people the chance to show their true selves, and more importantly, giving yourself the grace to accept them as they are, not as you want them to be. Stoics valued logic and reason, understanding that emotions, while a vital part of the human experience, should not dictate our actions. To cultivate healthy skepticism, start by challenging your initial reactions. When someone makes a promise or expresses affection, don't immediately accept it at face value. Ask yourself, is this consistent with what I know about this person? Are their actions in alignment with their words? This reflective practice allows you to build relationships based on reality, not illusion, creating a foundation of trust and understanding, and withstand the tests of time. Think of skepticism as a pair of glasses that help you see the world more clearly. Without them, everything is a blur, and you risk stumbling over obstacles that could have been avoided. With them, you navigate with confidence, seeing things as they truly are, free from the distortions of idealization or fear. Practical steps to embrace this mindset include slowing down the pace of your emotional engagement. Don't rush to label a relationship or place expectations on it before it's time. Let it unfold naturally, with your eyes wide open to both the good and the bad. When you feel doubts creeping in, don't push them away. Instead, explore them. What are they telling you? Are they based on evidence or insecurity? Use these moments as opportunities to learn and grow. Remember, skepticism isn't about closing yourself off, but about opening yourself up to what's real. It's about understanding that true connection comes from seeing and accepting people as they are, with all their flaws and imperfections. By doing this, you not only protect your own heart from unnecessary harm, but also create the conditions for genuine, lasting relationships. Moreover, healthy skepticism is an act of self-care. It's about safeguarding your emotional well-being by not allowing yourself to be swept away by every tide of emotion. It's about standing firm in your truth, not swayed by the momentary whims of others. By adopting this approach, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and confidence that attracts like-minded individuals into your life. By embracing healthy skepticism, you also honor the Stoic principle of embracing reality with equanimity. You recognize that both you and your loved ones are imperfect, that life is full of uncertainties, and that real growth comes from navigating these challenges with grace and resilience. It's about finding beauty not in perfection, but in authenticity and vulnerability. Ultimately, this practice isn't about building walls, but about opening doors, cautiously and thoughtfully, ensuring that what you let in aligns with your values and needs. It's about fostering relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding, where both parties feel seen and valued for who they truly are. This is the essence of a healthy, meaningful connection, and it starts with the courage to be a little skeptical. Number 8. Don't chase. Why should you pursue what is already fleeing from you? This question echoes a timeless truth found in Stoic philosophy. Pursuit of something that is slipping away often only leads to frustration and disillusionment. In the realm of relationships, This principle holds profound significance. When someone begins to distance themselves, our instinct is often to close the gap, to chase after them in the hopes of rekindling what seems to be fading. But what if the real strength lies not in chasing, but in letting go? Stoics taught us to focus on what we can control and to release what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, what could more aptly fit your needs." This wisdom reminds us that there is power in detachment, in recognizing that chasing after someone who is pulling away is not only futile, but also undermines our own dignity. By letting go, we make space for what is truly meant for us to enter our lives. Consider this. When you chase after something that is moving away, whether it's a person or an ideal, you're actually moving away from yourself. The energy you expend in pursuit is energy taken from your own growth and well-being. Imagine trying to grasp at smoke. The more you reach, the less you hold. Instead of chasing, the Stoic approach invites us to stand still, to remain centered in our own value, and to trust that what is meant to be will find its way to us naturally. To put this into practice, begin by embracing the idea of letting go. When someone starts to distance themselves, rather than responding with fear or desperation, pause. Ask yourself, is this pursuit worth compromising my peace of mind? More often than not, the answer will reveal that your peace, dignity, and self-respect are far more valuable than any temporary connection. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to focus on what truly matters, your own growth and fulfillment. This doesn't mean you should shut yourself off from others or become indifferent. On the contrary, it's about recognizing your worth and understanding that you deserve relationships built on mutual respect and genuine connection. By not chasing, you set a powerful precedent for how you expect to be treated. You communicate that your time, energy, and emotions are precious, and you will not expend them on something or someone that does not value them in return. Think of yourself as a magnet. When you stop chasing, you begin to attract people and opportunities that are aligned with your true self. Your strength lies in your ability to remain grounded and unwavering, not in your ability to pursue what eludes you. This is where true power and dignity reside, in the calm assurance that what is meant for you will not require you to sacrifice your integrity. In the process of not chasing, you also foster a healthier dynamic in relationships. You allow the other person the freedom to choose, which in turn creates a foundation of mutual respect and authenticity. When people feel free to come and go, without the pressure of being chased, they are more likely to stay out of genuine desire rather than obligation. This leads to deeper, more meaningful connections that are based on truth rather than need. Ultimately, practicing the art of not chasing is an exercise in self-love and personal empowerment. It's about trusting in your own worth and the natural flow of life. By stepping back, you allow life to bring you what is truly yours, free from the distortions of fear or desperation. As you cultivate this mindset, you'll find that the right people and opportunities are drawn to you, not because you chased after them, but because you stood firm in your own light. In the end, the decision to stop chasing is not just about letting go of others. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about recognizing that your value does not diminish simply because someone else cannot see it. It's about standing tall in the knowledge that you are enough, just as you are, and that the right people will recognize and cherish that without you having to chase them down. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you affirm your own dignity, and in doing so, you open yourself up to a life filled with richer, more fulfilling connections that are grounded in mutual respect and authentic love. Number 9. Unconditional love. Is it possible to love someone without any conditions, or is it merely an idealistic notion? This question has been debated for centuries, and in the philosophy of Stoicism, the answer lies not in a blind acceptance, but in a profound understanding of human nature and our own capacity for growth. Unconditional love, from a Stoic perspective, is about embracing the inherent worth of every individual, irrespective of their actions, status, or life circumstances. It's not about ignoring faults or overlooking mistakes, but rather about recognizing the shared humanity that binds us all. Marcus Aurelius once reflected, Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This Stoic wisdom invites us to see beyond the surface, love deeply and authentically, without expecting anything in return. But how do we practice this in our daily lives? It begins with ourselves. Unconditional love for others is impossible without first cultivating it within. This means accepting yourself fully, your strengths and your weaknesses, without the harsh judgment that so often clouds our self-perception. It's about giving yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them without dwelling in self-criticism. Imagine treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. This is where unconditional love takes root. Next, extend this love to others. Unconditional love is not about condoning harmful behavior or allowing yourself to be mistreated. Rather, it's about holding space for the complexity of human nature. When someone you care about acts out of character or makes a poor decision, the Stoic response is to understand before you judge. Ask yourself, what might they be going through? And respond with empathy rather than condemnation. It's about loving the person, even when you may not love their actions. In relationships, this type of love manifests as patience and support, even when things are difficult. It's about being there for someone, not just in their moments of glory, but in their moments of doubt and despair. Think of it as being a steady lighthouse in the storm, your light guiding them through. Not because you expect something in return, because you value the connection you share. Forgiveness is a crucial element of unconditional love. It's not about erasing the hurt or pretending it didn't happen. It's about releasing the grip that past wrongs hold over you. As Seneca said, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. By forgiving, you free yourself from the emotional burden that resentment brings, making room for growth and healing. Forgiveness is the act of setting down the heavy weight of grudges and choosing instead to walk forward with a lighter heart. Furthermore, unconditional love challenges us to celebrate others' successes without envy, to be genuinely happy for their achievements as if they were our own. It's about sharing in the joy of those around us, understanding that their victories do not diminish our own worth. In essence, unconditional love is a practice, one that requires daily attention and effort. It's about showing up for yourself and others, not just in the easy moments, but in the challenging ones as well. It's about holding on to the belief that everyone is capable of change, that everyone deserves compassion, and that love, when given freely, is the most powerful force for personal and collective transformation. As we cultivate this love, we not only strengthen our relationships but also grow as individuals. We learn to love without strings attached, to forgive without conditions, and to embrace the imperfections that make us human. In doing so, we create a life rich in connection, meaning, and fulfillment, one that reflects the deep, abiding principles of Stoic wisdom. Number 10. Don't completely center your life around another person. Why do we hand over the reins of our happiness to others? This isn't just a rhetorical question. It's a reminder of an essential Stoic principle, the need to remain grounded in our own autonomy. Epictetus once said, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." This speaks directly to how we often place others at the center of our emotional universe, allowing their actions and opinions to dictate our self-worth and happiness. In relationships, this tendency to lose ourselves, to build our lives around another person, is not only risky but also contrary to the Stoic philosophy of self-reliance. Completely center your life around another is to relinquish your own strength and independence. Much like surrendering a ship to the mercy of an unpredictable sea, the Stoics teach us to find stability and contentment from within, not from the fleeting externalities of others' actions. To embody this in practical terms, focus first on cultivating your own passions and interests. Just as a tree needs its roots to absorb nutrients and stand tall, we too need our own pursuits and hobbies to stay grounded. Whether it's a commitment to personal growth, nurturing friendships outside your romantic relationship, or dedicating time to your career and hobbies, these are the roots that sustain you, allowing you to stand firm even in the strongest winds. Furthermore, practicing self-awareness is crucial. Regularly ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values, or have I compromised too much for the sake of another? The Stoics were big on introspection, urging us to frequently examine our own lives to ensure that we're not veering off course. By constantly reflecting on our choices and actions, we guard against the subtle erosion of our individuality and maintain our personal integrity. Living independently doesn't mean detaching from your partner or becoming emotionally distant. Rather, it's about ensuring your relationship is an addition to your life, not the entirety of it. Imagine your life as a beautifully woven tapestry, with your relationship as one of many vibrant threads, not the sole focus of the entire design. If one thread breaks, the whole fabric does not unravel. It continues to hold its shape and beauty because it's supported by the strength of the whole. In your daily life, start by setting clear boundaries that honor your own needs. Make it a point to engage in activities that fulfill you outside the relationship. These practices affirm that your life is rich and full, independent of any one person. They remind you that you are whole and complete, as you are, with or without another's validation. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Apply this wisdom by ensuring your thoughts are your own, not merely reflections of someone else's expectations or desires. Your peace of mind is yours to cultivate, and it begins by not allowing your inner world to be dictated by the fluctuating moods and actions of another. By refusing to center your entire existence around someone else, you're also fostering a relationship that is healthier and more balanced. It's about being partners on a shared journey rather than merging identities. It's about walking side by side, each with your own purpose and direction, yet together in mutual respect and support. This approach encourages mutual growth and respect within the relationship, as each person is seen as a whole individual, not merely a counterpart to the other. It allows for a deeper connection, grounded in the understanding that true love doesn't demand the sacrifice of self, but rather the flourishing of both individuals. In conclusion, do not make another person the sun around which your world revolves. Be your own center, your own source of light, and allow others to orbit around you in their unique ways. In this balance, you will find not just a richer relationship, but a more fulfilled and authentic life. Number 11. Virtue. What does it truly mean to live a virtuous life within the confines of a romantic relationship? This isn't just about lofty ideals or philosophical musings. It's about the concrete, everyday actions that define our character and shape our partnerships. In the eyes of the Stoics, virtue, acting with wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, is the foundation of a meaningful existence. It's not just about doing good for the sake of appearance, but about being good authentically and consistently, even when no one is watching. In a relationship, virtue calls us to elevate our honesty. It means more than just speaking the truth. It requires us to live truthfully, aligning our words and actions with our innermost values. This type of honesty demands vulnerability, showing up not just as our best selves, but as our whole selves, imperfections included. When we are honest in this way, we create a space where both partners feel safe to be authentic, fostering a deeper, more genuine connection. Loyalty in a virtuous relationship transcends mere fidelity. It's about a steadfast commitment to support and uplift each other, especially when life throws its inevitable challenges our way. Think of it like this. Loyalty is not just about standing beside your partner during the easy times, but about holding their hand firmly when the ground shakes beneath you both. It's about being a steady presence, a reliable source of strength and comfort, and knowing that your partner would do the same for you. Compassion, another pillar of virtue, encourages us to step into our partner's shoes, truly feel their joys and their sorrows. It's about embracing empathy as a daily practice, not a mere reaction to their troubles. In this light, compassion is not just about being there when times are tough. It's about celebrating their victories, however small, and supporting their ambitions without judgment or expectation. It's recognizing that, in lifting them up, we too rise. Respect in the realm of virtue goes beyond simple acknowledgement of our partner's worth. It's an active practice of cherishing their autonomy, honoring their needs and desires as we would our own. In a relationship grounded in virtue, respect becomes the bedrock upon which love is built. Where two individuals come together not out of need, but out of a mutual desire to grow and learn together. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In our relationships, this means that the quality of our bond is directly related to the thoughts and actions we cultivate within it. By nurturing virtues like honesty, loyalty, compassion, and respect, we ensure that the relationship reflects the best parts of ourselves, creating a partnership that is resilient, supportive, and profoundly fulfilling. To live virtuously in love is to be mindful of these values in every decision, every conversation, every touch. It's about practicing gratitude daily, expressing thanks not only for grand gestures, but for the simple, quiet moments of connection and understanding. It's in these everyday acts that the true strength of our character is tested and proven. So start today. Make the commitment to be a little more honest, a little more loyal, a little more compassionate, and a little more respectful. This is not just for the benefit of your partner, but for yourself. Because when you strive to live virtuously, you become not just a better partner, but a better person. And in the end, isn't that what we all aspire to be? Someone who is valued not just for what they say, but for how they live, love, and leave their mark on the world. What does it mean to truly be valuable in someone's life? It's a question that invites us to reflect deeply on our own worth and how we are perceived by others. The Stoics remind us that our value isn't something handed out freely or without effort. It's cultivated through actions, character, and the way we invest ourselves in the world around us. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, those who truly understand their worth know that value comes from being sought after, earned, and deeply appreciated. True value is like a rare gem, polished not by its existence alone, but by the effort someone makes to seek it out and appreciate its rarity. The more effort someone invests in discovering and understanding you, the stronger and more enduring that bond becomes. This isn't about being aloof or unattainable. It's about being a meaningful presence, someone whose impact is so profound that your absence would be genuinely felt. Allowing others to invest in you isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about creating space for others to see your worth, to recognize that your presence is not something that can be taken for granted. It's about giving them the opportunity to cherish you as an essential part of their life, something they wouldn't want to lose. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This reminds us that the way we allow others to invest in us reflects our own understanding of our worth. Think of the philosopher Socrates and his students. Socrates wasn't just another teacher. He was a guide, a mentor whose teachings were so invaluable that his students would walk with him through the streets of Athens, learning not just from his words, from his very way of being. He didn't hand out his wisdom freely to all. He shared it with those who were willing to engage deeply, to challenge themselves, and in doing so, became indispensable to them. His value wasn't just in his presence, but in the profound impact he had on those who invested in learning from him. In our exploration of these 11 principles, we've uncovered a blueprint for creating relationships that are not just enduring, truly meaningful. We've learned that unconditional love, as inspired by Stoic philosophy, isn't about sacrificing oneself, but about embracing a balance of giving and receiving, grounded in mutual respect and genuine care. Recognizing your worth and allowing others to invest in you isn't about being passive. It's about taking an active role in your own life, standing firm in your values, and showing the world through your actions that you are a person of substance and depth. It's about living your life in a way that naturally draws others to you, creating bonds that are built on genuine appreciation and respect. By living according to these principles, we not only shape healthier and more fulfilling relationships, but also become architects of our own inner peace and happiness. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So think of yourself as someone worthy of deep, meaningful connection, and let others see that worth in how you live your life. As we close this chapter, I invite you to reflect on the journey we've taken together, to think about how you can apply these Stoic principles not just in your relationships, but in every aspect of your life. If you've made it this far, comment below with, "I am embracing my worth," as a commitment to yourself and to those around you. This is your first step toward a life of deeper connections and greater fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, the path to a meaningful life is not always the easiest, but it is the most rewarding. Until next time, continue to cultivate the best within you, and you will find that the world responds in kind.